What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is Tuesday, December the 20th. We have a 5-game NBA slate tonight. So let's go ahead and get started. As always, if you enjoy the content, please hit the like button, subscribe if you have not already. Yesterday, interesting slate. We got the Westbrook news late, but hopefully we're able to pivot off of him. Naz Reid once again went absolutely bonkers after leaving the game early the day before and messing up a lot of people's lineups. But if you played him, he came through for you. 5 games, try to get back to the money tonight on both sites. Starting off with the point guard picks today, we have Ja Morant's the only guy above 10,000 with Steph Curry's out, obviously, and I think Booker will play. Maybe they just wanted to hold him out on a back-to-back set, but he's 95, very expensive unless they happen to rule out Chris Paul on a back-to-back or they rule out somebody else like Ayton, then I'm not going to be looking to pay that much for him. Same thing with Hero. He's up to 88 now. Pass on that price tag. I'd rather go down to a Jordan Poole who's $8,100 coming off of a career high last game, and he's probably going to have opportunities to put up a lot more career highs going forward until Steph Curry is back, just with how much production they haven't been getting really from. Like Draymond struggling a lot this year. Clay's been up and down, and Wiggins continues to miss games. So the door's open for Jordan Poole to shoot as many times as he wants, and once again, in a matchup against the Knicks, it's a good one to possibly put up another 30-plus, 40-plus point game. Other options at point guard. Jamal Murray is questionable. If he's out, then Bones Highland would be a nice play at 5K. They probably will hold him out on not a back-to-back or anything like that, but where he's been kind of struggling with the shot, dealing with some injuries, coming off of a serious knee injury. So I don't expect him to play. If he's out, then definitely go to Bones Highland. Then you have some guys like 53 for Mike Conley, still a good price tag. He had a decent game last time out. Still, we're waiting for like a 6x performance, but last game was definitely a good sign. Even though they got blown out in Cleveland, he still was able to put up 26. But he could also be sitting on a back-to-back, which if he does sit today, then you're going to be looking at Alexander Walker as a good value pick. Just with Sexton continuing to miss games, and Clarkson would get a lot more opportunities to handle the ball. Over at shooting guard, a position where you can probably pay down a little bit, not too much interest. Maybe Clarkson if Conley's out again or he gets ruled out today on a back-to-back. Value-wise, Bruce Brown, if there is no Jamal Murray, looks fine at 55. Beasley looks okay, especially if there is no Conley, he'd get a nice bump. Value-wise, if Booker is out again, you could maybe look to Shamet. I'm going with Caruso right now. He's been starting the last few games just with the struggles of DeSumo. He hasn't really done anything great himself. Had one decent game of almost 23 fantasy points. But if he continues to play 25-plus minutes, both of these games were also blowouts, so he probably lost some rotation in the fourth quarter. Bulls are kind of searching for something. They've been struggling. But Caruso at sub 4K can definitely supply some sort of production. It can give you some defensive stats, maybe hit some open threes. And overall, we don't have a ton of value right now, so he's definitely one guy that sticks out a bit. Small forward, DeRozan is cheap at 82. It's a tough matchup against Miami, though, so I don't want to go crazy with a lot of the Bulls guys. 6K range, Bridges, Bogdanovich, they look good, but I'm going with DiVincenzo. Kind of struggled last time I played him, but still like the opportunities that he's playing 30 minutes that game, even though it was a 16-point win against Toronto. He's starting for them, so he's getting those extra minutes. He can shoot, he can give you rebounds, assists, do a little bit of everything, so he's pretty... he still gives you a nice ceiling just because he will contribute in all those categories. So at this price tag, in a matchup against the Knicks, I think he's always a candidate that could get hot from 3 and give you a 40-plus point game. Then you have Bojan Bogdanovic. He's been the most consistent player on the Pistons all year, averaging over 20 points per game, giving you some rebounding at times, a couple of assists here and there. I definitely don't mind him at this price tag. Over at power forward, Randall is expensive, Butler is expensive. See, Butler has a Q tag, he's probable, so both guys are fine if you wanted to. Neither one I'm looking to force into my lineup. I'd rather go with some guys in the 6K range with Bogdanovich, Jackson, or Gordon. They all look good to me. Going with Jaren Jackson Jr., price tag is very fair for him, has come down considerably from the last few games where he's over 7K, 76, 69. Now he's down to 67 against in a matchup against the Nuggets. Could be without Jamal Murray. Should be a close game. Both teams are very good out in the West. And coming off of a game where only played 28 minutes, but it was a game where Ja Morant got ejected, and they were down big at halftime, but then they were able to crawl back into it a bit in the second half. And then it was a blowout against the Bucks, so he only played 13 minutes. He was also in foul trouble there, but normally he's been pretty good in the 30s and can get you in the 40s too, and even in the 50s. Like the price tag, definitely for the other option in that range, he probably gives you the highest ceiling. And then at center, going to pay out for Jokic, coming off of his best game of his life and one of the best games you've ever seen. 40, 27, 10 with 2 steals, and even missed 5 free throws that could have been even better. But if there's no Murray, that'll benefit Jokic a little bit. But he's been also just absolutely dialed in. He's making a run for MVP at this point. 3 out of his last 4 games, he's dropped over 80 fantasy points. Probably can bet his overscoring today if he wanted to, the way that he's been going. So a lot to like with Jokic. Price tag is going up, but still I think if he continues to put up 80s, you'll be happy. So that's what I got on DraftKings. Let's talk about FanDuel. So FanDuel, pretty similar. Got Poole at 83 at the point guard position. He looks the best. Don't know if I can get all the way up to Ja Morant, almost 11,000. And then if Booker's back, I don't really want to get to Paul on a back-to-back. And then with Murray, if he's out, then Bones Highland would be another option to look at. Shooting guard, price tag on DiVincenzo's a little bit cheaper on FanDuel at $6K, but he looks good on both sides. Bruce Brown, if there's no Murray, looks fine. I just had shooting guard eligible, but Beasley would look good if Conley's out. And continue to go with some value picks with, depending on some of the injuries news that we get. Small forward, I put in Patrick Williams. He's 45. It's a position where you have some guys priced, appropriately in the 8K range. But I do want to try to get to Jokic, so it'll be tough to get to every expensive guy at all these positions. So value-wise, I think he looks pretty good at 45. He continues to start for them at the 4. Can give you some rebounds, can give you some defensive stats, and he's been a pretty efficient shooter whenever he does decide to shoot. Playing with Levine and DeRozan doesn't get a ton of shots every game, but the ones that he does get, he normally makes a good amount of them. Then I have Bojan at 61, small forward and power forward eligible for a guy that just continues to drop 20-plus point games almost every night. Give you some rebounds, can give you 40, 50-point upside if he drops a 30-plus point game. Matchup is good against Utah, and the price tag is really fair, so a lot to like with him. And then at center, Jokic is 12.5, but there's just such a big gap between him and everybody else at center. Other guys are priced up, like Porzingis almost 10K, Bam is over 9K, Randall's 9K, and then only other guys you could look to maybe would be Ayton and Vooch. Even like Jackson is priced up, so there's a chance that Jokic, absolutely crushes all these guys. Probably a good chance that happens, and you're gonna need him. So that reason, we still have 56.50 with some of the value that we probably will get out of Denver and some of these other spots. I think it's a good decision right now to get to Jokic. If you don't get the value, then maybe you can go elsewhere. But for right now, I'm looking to get to Jokic today. That's what I got. Thank you for watching. Best of luck today, and I will catch you all next time.